Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Hoyane. Then MKHWANAZI bombshell is rippling out in all sorts of directions. While there are those who support MKHWANAZI for the sterling work and disclosures that he has made, MKHWANAZI is picking up enemies and is picking them fast. Let me just give you an example of some of the enemies who are, standing up or lining up against MKHWANAZI. There is Paul O Sulllivan. Up until I saw the latest interview that O Sulllivan gave, I had always had hope and had placed my, full trust in O Sulllivan as a crusader against corruption in this country. I had a lot of respect for him as a forensic investigator. But what I had coming out of that interview just made me think again. O Sulllivan, instead of addressing the damning disclosures that MKHWANAZI made over the weekend, went and veered off in his own direction, conveniently so perhaps for him, and started talking about Fani Masemola, the National Commissioner of Police, and MKHWANAZI be involved in corruption. He alleged, among other things in that interview, that both Masemola and MKHWANAZI had undertaken an overseas trip and were then given Louis Vuitton bags by suppliers. In fact, saying they took bribes from suppliers. That was how Paul O Sulllivan addressed the issue of the explosive interview that MKHWANAZI gave over the weekend. He dismally failed to address himself or to focus his mind on the questions being posed to him, and simply just ignored them. And how disappointing, because in the past, Paul O Sulllivan has held himself out as a crusader for criminal justice, if one can put it that way. But this time, I think he has just joined the queue of those who are anti-MKHWANAZI. Let me move on. There was also the president of the ANC Youth League, Colin Malachi. Malachi too did not address himself did not focus on the questions that he was being asked. He went into a tirade about how MKHWANAZI should not be giving press conferences, should not be holding press conferences. He must just arrest those that are involved, simply just not committing himself either way about those damning disclosures. So that's another one who seems to be in the anti-MKHWANAZI camp. There was also Fikile Mbalula. He belongs in that camp, I suppose. But he was a bit more measured in his response, because Fikile Mbalula said, well, investigations, the usual dismissive sort of responses that you'll get from people like Fikile Mbalula. Damage control exercise, that the president will look into these matters, and then at the appropriate time he'll apply his mind to them and take the necessary action disclosed by the evidence. But surprise to surprise, my biggest surprise is the damning silence of the state president, Cyril Ramaphosa. Ever since he arrived in the country on Tuesday, the president has said nothing about these disclosures. He has said nothing about these serious disclosures. That sent a wrong message about South Africa to the international community. That we have just become, a country riddled by crime and lawlessness, because, our ministers are working hand in cahoots with criminal syndicates. I mean, any president, under any circumstances, coming across that kind of information would not have, been in this, return from his visit overseas, and just let a matter like that, go away, or just sleep it off literally. Just hope it goes away. Because even if he were to make a statement now, that would be a belated statement, inappropriate, just because of his belatedness. It really shows that, I wonder whether there's the political will to fight crime in this country. Or are people just giving lip service, to the fight against crime and corruption? Because it would appear that when others are involved, these things are just supposed to die away. And it's a story today, tomorrow it has died down, and that's it. I mean, look at the Pala saga itself. I mean, leave out all the legalities of it, just look at the Pala thing. What kind of president keeps money, millions, right, in foreign currency under a mattress? Just you ask yourself that question. What sort of president would put millions, right, in foreign foreign currency, undeclared foreign currency, and get away with it? So this has become a way of life for us. They come and go. But I bet this MKHWANAZI thing is not just going to go away. Something must be done. There's an election coming up. Local government elections are coming up in 2026. And the ANC government had better wake up to that. Because it is things like this, that have led to the total demise of the ANC in the eyes of the people. From something like 57% in 2019, the ANC has fallen to a paltry 40% or something like that. Because the ordinary person out there, the ordinary South African, the ordinary vote of the ANC, is losing faith in the ANC, is losing confidence in the ANC. So the president must step up to the plate. He must do something. We need action. And we need action now, not later. Thank you.